Hello and welcome to a solo play of Tricube Tales. This is my first solo play for YouTube and my first experience with Mythic 2nd Edition. I just had a brief look over it, having used 1st Edition for a little over a year, and it's actually much better. They really knew what they were doing with this one. As for Tricube Tales, it is an extremely rules-light RPG that you can get for free on DriveThruRPG, the PDF version. All you gotta do is click on the preview for it, and that is the full version. The author does say this is allowed, so go ahead and go give it a try. And if you like it, buy it, and I highly recommend the physical edition even. I personally love physical books for my RPGs. I've stopped buying PDFs a while ago, pretty much. And I'll still buy them once in a while if I need something that I can print out of them. But for the most part, I'm purely physical these days. So, what kind of adventure are we going to run? Well, I want this to just be a one-shot, so it's going to be something simple. And the most simple thing I can think of is raiding a magician's tower. This will hopefully take less than 2 hours, but we'll see. The first thing I want for this is a map. Blank piece of paper and a ruler. Oop. So, as you can see, this paper's about 11 inches wide. On this paper, I need to determine where the tower is, where a town is, where a river starts on the edge, and where a river ends on the edge. So, first thing we're going to determine is the wizard's tower. Now, there's no 11-sided dice. So, we have two options here. We can use a 12-sided dice and ignore the 12 and re-roll it. Or we can just use a plain 10-sided dice. I'm going to go ahead and use the 10-sided dice. So, we're going to roll a 10-sided dice to determine where along the length it's going to go. As for height, I believe this paper is just over 8 inches. So, we use an 8-sided dice to determine where it is up and down. That is 7 inches on the width there, and 6 inches we'll just eyeball it. All right. Wizard's Tower. All right. Now to determine where the village is. Eight and 4. So these villagers have been living next to that wizard's tower for some time. Interesting. All right. Now we need to determine the start and stop of a river. I'm going to give each side of paper a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. And we want it to start 5 inches from the bottom or top. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to a D6 to pick a different side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. 3 inches. And that's our river. So, what I want to know is what side forested? We will now do it once again. 1, 2, this side is forested. 3, 4, this side is forested. 5, 6, both sides are forested. All right. So the entire area is forested. Good to know. All right. We now have our river, or our terrain basically. We're deep in the forest. We have a small village that is next to an abandoned wizard's tower. I'm doing abandoned because I don't want to have to fight a wizard. And now I have my first question for the fate chart. So one thing I did with the original Mythic was I often ignored chaos factor. I just didn't like it. Well, apparently enough people ignored chaos factor because Mythic 2nd Edition has a no chaos fate chart. So I don't have to worry about chaos. I just have to determine how likely a question is. So my very first fate question is it raining? Deep forest, we'll call it early spring, so likely. So I need to roll under a 65 for it to be raining. 21. It is raining. Awesome. So, raining in the forest. Now, let's make our character now that we have all that set up. Tricube Tales has a very simple character creation. You decide if your character is brawny or agile, brawny, or crafty. You pick a descriptor of them. So an agile thief would be a descriptor, a thief that is agile. And you can do a brawny thief or a crafty thief if you want. Then you pick a perk, something your character is really good at, and you pick a quirk, something that basically holds your character back. Using our thief example, a perk would be really good with lockpicks. That might be a given with a thief, but this just gives them a little extra boost. A quirk, an obvious one would be greedy. Another one would be overconfident. They're so overconfident that they leave taunting messages to the police or whatever. I am going to be a warrior. Ooh. And I'm going to pick the obvious and be a brawny warrior. Hope my handwriting's okay. So we need to pick a perk and a quirk. What would be a perk? I want a magical sword. That's what I want. And one of second edition's new charts is there is a magic chart. It's really meant for spells, but we can use it. Oh, no, here's a magic item descriptor. Yeah, let's just use this one. So take my D100. We roll on the magic item descriptor. 58. Life. This sword can detect life is how I'm going to interpret that. So my perk is life detecting sword. Quirk. So what does the quirk need to be? I'm going to roll on Mythic again. Let's see if we can't locate a chart for that. Ooh, here we go. Let's use the curses table. So, one more time. What curse as a quirk do we have? 43. 43. Goals. Let's roll again and get some more info on that. I know I'm using this chart wrong. It's how I've always done it, I guess. 66. Love. Ooh. Okay, I got it. So our warrior is in love with someone, and they're doing stupid things for that, like going to a wizard's tower to get an item. So his quirk is he does anything for love. And finally, we need karma tokens and resolve tokens. I forgot to get something there for this, so we're just going to use 2d6 to keep track of these. We get 3 of each. All right, we now have our character. We have a very basic map. It is morning. It is raining. And in order to prove himself to his love, our warrior, big muscle-brained warrior, is heading to a tower to get something to get something. We will determine that when we get to the top of the tower. He's traveling along, and he runs to the river. So our first skill challenge in Tricube Tales is crossing the river. Can our guy swim? Yeah, we'll say he can, just to keep it simple. So we're going to roll 3d6. I will go ahead and put this skill within his purview. Agility and strength. Strength kind of plays into swimming, I guess. All right. It'll be, since it's raining, it's going to be slightly flooding, I bet. Ooh. So we'll give this a hard rating. So we need 1/6 in order for nothing bad to happen on this. Yes. So our warrior struggles. He's gotten to the river. He gets to the other side. He's tired. Perfect time for a monster attack. All right, Mythic. Do we get attacked by monsters? I'm going to rate this again as likely. Ooh, where did it go? There we are. And likely, again, under 65. 62. Yes, we get attacked. All right. So Tricube Tales has a bestiary near the back. Oh, where is that? Here we are. Bestiary. We're going to go with something that's rank 1. Oh, I have focus locked, so it's better on the table. I should probably disable that, but oh well. skeletons or goblins? Both are good. And we will say even, we're going to do a goblin. Odd, we'll do skeletons. See, that's a 9. That's odd. We're going to do skeletons. We'll do a D4 worth of skeletons. 3 skeletons. All right. Our guy is being attacked by 3 skeletons. I don't have tokens, so I'm going to make my own. We'll use a sheet of white paper for the hero. And 2, 3 blue sheets for the skeletons. You know what I just realized? I never gave my gag a name. Oh well. We'll call him good old John. Enemy 1. Enemy 2. Enemy 3. There we go. Much better focus. All right. In addition to that, knocking over my dice. River. We'll place a tree here, here, and here. Mark them out as T for tree. All right. John, our warrior, has just gotten off the river. We've got 3 goblins. Ooh, these are wispy little trees, aren't they? But they are ready to attack. Now, I'm probably mistaken, but I believe player characters always go first in this. Let's see. Combat 26. Turn order should follow the narrative wherever possible. And players, let me put this in front of the camera for everyone. Turn order should always follow the narrative where possible, and players make all the rolls. They roll to attack on their turn and to defend on their enemy's turn. As a general rule, players should only make 1 defense roll each turn. If they are facing multiple foes, make them roll against the most dangerous attacker. Okay then. All right, so I'm going to give the enemies the first turn. because they got the drop on John after crossing the river. And so what we're going to have to do is, I think we'll just do the enemies in order. So enemy 1 will go first, then John will make his turn, and then enemy 2, then enemy 3. So Goblin runs up, attacks John as a warrior against a weak goblin. We'll roll 3. I needed at least a 5 because this is a standard challenge. And I rolled a 4 as my highest. Yeah, that's no good. So, question. Do I spend a single karma to take this hit? Or to reduce it, I mean? Or do I take a hit to my resolve? I think I will take a hit to my resolve for this first turn. John will now attack the goblin. And another failure, even if that was easy. All right. Goblin 2. We'll say he has a bow to support the frontline fighter. We'll move him up to the bank of the river. He'll attack. We'll do this standard. That's a 5. John succeeds. John's turn again. Standard attack. That is a success. Little X to show that they're gone. Goblin 3. Does he, upon seeing his opponent dying, goblins are not known to be the bravest things, or his comrade, I mean, does he flee? Back to the fate chart. We're going to say it's unlikely he'll flee. He still has John outnumbered 2-1. 45. And that is no. He does not flee. So he's going to run up, attack John again. John needs to defend on standard difficulty. That's a success. That means John will now attack Goblin number 3. 6. Goblin number 3 dead. All right. One final goblin. Goblin 2. I probably should have saved that fate question for this round, because it's pretty bad form to ask multiple fate questions, in my opinion. You should ask as few questions as possible. But we're going to keep it unlikely if Goblin 3 runs away. 95. Oof. That's an extreme no. That means this goblin is in a blood rage, I would say. He's going to run up and he's going to attack John with everything he has. I'm going to increase difficulty to hard for defense. I defend. Same thing, I'm going to keep it on hard to attack. 4, that is a failure. One more attack from the goblin. 5, that would be a success on hard. I'm going to spend a karma to reduce the difficulty so that I succeed. His attack fails again. Defense succeeds. All right. That's a failure on the attack again. I'm wondering if this is worth it. I mean, like, John's not going to sit here and engage an enraged goblin. No, these are skeletons. I've been calling them goblins, haven't I? Oh well. We'll just continue to call them goblins. Anyways, John's not going to want to sit here. So let's have him defend one more time. Oof. That's another resolve gone. All right. So I'm going to do something slightly complicated. I'm going to kick the goblin and run away. I'm going to go ahead and give this a medium difficulty. Of course. All right. John kicks the goblin. He runs away. Now, does the goblin chase after him? I'm going to rate that as likely. Likely. So anything under a 65 means the goblin does attack. Or follow, I mean. 88. That's a no. Is that an extreme no? That's pretty high. No. So the goblin's giving up, I guess. Decided he's had enough combat. We will save these tokens for later. So John has now crossed the river. The scene is over, so I believe I set my resolve back to 3, but not my karma. And just want to make sure on the resolve. Okay. All right. Yes, here we are. Yes, resolve is recovered at the end of a scene. That was the end of a scene. And John has fled I will say he's just going to continue forward. And he's going to reach the Wizard's Tower. All right. How many floors is this Wizard's Tower? I would like to roll a d4 and add 1. So at least 2 floors and a maximum of 5. 2 floors. Oh, nice. This session's going to be shorter than I thought. And it's good because I've been going at this for nearly 35 minutes already. Well, over 35 at this point. All right, 2 towers. My favorite movie out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. All right. So we have floor 1 and floor 2. Is this abandoned tower? Oh, nah. Why'd I put a door on the second floor? Well, there could be a balcony out here. Yeah. All right. Next fate question. Is the door locked? We're going to say likely. So 65 again. 75. The door is not locked. Ooh, that's interesting. I guess the wizard left anything. All right. And I don't have the book with me that lets me describe rooms easily. But I think Mythic has a table for that. Ooh. Did not mean to hit the stand my camera was on. All right. Yeah, we got some descriptors. Let's roll 2 descriptors here. So, descriptor 1, 55. Irritatingly. On to the descriptor 2 table. 2. Irritatingly amusing. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, I thought of something funny. So, the wizard had a toy making habit, and he would use these toys to defend his tower. And when he left his toys. So now I'm going to get attacked by some toys. 3 toys, in fact, that are still functional since the wizard has left. So I am going to just create 3 effort tokens for this. So they're basically like 3 little dolls. They all attack John once. He swings his sword. That is not lit up because these toys are not alive, which would explain why he fell into this trap. He is going to fail his first roll. So now he's going to defend on a standard difficulty against these toys. 5. So he's shaking these toys off. He's successful. He takes another swing at them. Oh, okay. He succeeds 2 effort tokens left. He smashes one of these dolls with his sword. He takes another defense. He succeeds. In fact, I think that's a great success. Yeah, yes, that is an exceptional success. So I am going to determine that as in his defense, he's going to take another one down. So he now gets to swing at one more doll. He's going to fail. Little bugger easily skips around the room, attacks. John succeeds in defense again. He makes his attack, and he destroys the last doll. As he defeats the dolls, a stairway opens up. But first, I want to know, is there any containers in this room? Let's be a loot goblin. I'm going to give it a 50-50. 84, there's no containers in this room. Just some broken furniture and maybe a table that the wizard used long ago. But there's nothing. More stairs for John to go to. All right. So, we came here looking for an item that may or may not exist. I'm going to give myself extremely good odds that this item does exist. So, there is a chest in this room. We're going to rate this as very likely that there is something in there. So I need to roll a 75 or lower for there to be something in this chest. 77? Are you kidding me? So the chest is empty? Wizard played one heck of a practical joke on me. There's nothing in this tower to take back to John's crush. Wow. John just goes out to this balcony, looks out over the forest, lets out a deep sigh of disappointment that everything he did was for nothing. Wow. Well, that's the nature of randomized dice rolls for solo play, people. If you really let the dice take the reins, sometimes you just don't get the treasure. But it's not the destination. It's the journey, isn't it? We got to fight some goblins. Lost to them, basically. We fought off some magical toys. I'd say that's fun. But hey, maybe next time. And next time, I would like to run a different game. something a little more complicated. And that game is called Stars Without Number. So I will see you guys next weekend, hopefully. And I would like to make Sundays or Mondays my regular upload schedule whenever this goes up. So I will see you guys then.